pressed record. I just filmed a whole video and I didn't press record. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. Let's try this again. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am bringing you today a book shopping, my first book shopping video. And I visited 2 independent English bookstores here in Montreal. I just say English because it's a thing here. Sometimes independent bookstores are French, and we have a few that are English. So yeah, I went to the English ones because that's my preferred choice for reading. Independent Bookstore Day was on April 24th, and in celebration of Indie Bookstore Day, I decided to visit a bookstore in my neighborhood and another bookstore near the university, near McGill University here in Montreal. And I also went to a used bookstore that's been around for a really long time. It's really a mainstay here in Montreal called The Word that carries mostly classics, but they also carry other contemporary books. So without further ado, here is some vlogging footage of me shopping in bookstores.
On va se reparler demain. Juste pour leur dire. Ah,
All right, so the first store that I went to was a local plateau store called Distill, and the owner of Distill is extremely generous and kind, and every time I go in there, she always gives me really great recommendations. She's just such a nice lady, and she's working hard to, you know, make a go of it with her bookstore, and I just want to support her. I just think she's wonderful, and it's really nice for me to have a bookstore like just right around the corner. So I ended up getting quite a few books at her bookstore, and every time I go in there I really do end up getting quite a few books because she has a great selection. So the first one that I picked up is this Burnt Sugar. So I had my eye on this for a while. The topic, see, I have some kind of tendonitis on my hand. I don't know if it's from holding up heavy books, maybe. If anybody's had any experience with wrist pain or tendonitis and has any tips for me, maybe you can leave them in the comments below. I just picked up this wrist brace. at the drugstore, and it seems to be helping a bit. I found that icing, it helps a bit at night, but it's giving me a lot of pain, and it's really debilitating. Like, I'm having a really hard time doing dishes and folding laundry and typing at my computer. So if anybody has any special... Okay, back to books. I was going to say, if anybody has any advice, do please let me know. Okay, so Burnt Sugar. This is a story of a mother-daughter relationship where the mother has dementia and the daughter is in a situation where she has to then take care of her mom. I mean, I'm not sure if she takes care of her full-time or if she has to place her in a home or something along those lines. And I picked it up because I am dealing a little bit with something similar in my family. My father was diagnosed with dementia, and my mom is in a home here in Montreal. So it's tough. It's been hard. I'm not going to pretend. And so, one of the reasons I got into reading was to find a way to kind of relax and get out of my own world, which is sometimes a little bit challenging and has been super challenging with COVID. But I also wanted to read this because I don't see very much about this, that the mother-daughter relationship wasn't necessarily good to begin with, so it's not quite the same as mine situation, but I think it might be, I don't know, cathartic to read. So I wanted to give it a try. I know it's had mixed reviews. We'll see. And then the next book that I picked up is this Bernardine Evaristo book, Blonde Roots. And I've heard a lot of different recommendations for her books on YouTube from various different channels that I watch. This is the first one where I really was like, oh, I'm really curious. So it's about a reversal of the slave trade. So if Europeans were traded as slaves as opposed to Africans being traded as slaves. And I think it just sounds like a really interesting premise, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. I think it's going to be good because I've heard so much great things about this author. Girl, Woman, Other is the one that I see recommended all over. So yeah, looking forward to checking out her writing, and I think the premise of the story sounds really interesting and right up my alley. And then I also picked up The House on the Cerulian Sea by T.J. Klune. And this has obviously been talked up a lot on BookTube as well. It's supposed to be a really feel-good book, which I think will be nice for me because I'm about 3/4 of a way through A Little Life. And I'm also reading Sharp Objects at the same time. I don't know how that happened. It wasn't intentional. I didn't even know what A Little Life was about. And then I picked up Sharp Objects, and now I'm just like, what's going on here? So I am really looking forward to reading something light. A couple of light books I picked up actually on this book haul because I need to shift moods. I don't want to get kind of discouraged by reading too much heavy stuff. So on that note, I also grabbed Oona Out of Order, which the premise also sounds really fun to me. It's about a girl who but her birthday is at the stroke of her birthday. Yeah, it says she'll turn 19 at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, 1982. And she wakes up like 30 years later, and she's 50 years old. And then we learn what happens next. So I don't know. It sounds like a really great premise. I don't know much about it. I haven't heard it talked about all that much. I'm really excited to read it. It looks really good. Looking forward to giving that one a go. And then the lady who owns the Distill bookstore, she's so sweet. She gave me a book. She gave me an ARC. I've never had an ARC before. I don't, run a bookstore. I'm not a buyer. I'm not in that publishing world. I'm just a little teacher. And so, yeah, so she gave me this book, Second Place, it's an ARC by Rachel Kusk. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Apparently she's Canadian and lives in London, and I don't know much about her. I've never read any of her books before. She's written quite a few books, according to the back, and she's one of Granta's 2003 Best Young British Novelists. She was twice a finalist for the Scotia Giller Prize, which is a Canadian prize here. So I don't know this author, and she very kindly gave me this ARC, and she didn't give me this ARC and was like, read it and report back to me or anything like that. She just gave it to me out of kindness and to say thanks for supporting her store, which was just really sweet. It's the first time I've had anybody do anything like that for me. related to all my book love and this book hobby that I've developed. So that was really, really sweet. And she's a doll. I'm going to put the information for her shop in the details below, along with information for all 3 stores that I visited in my little book shopping tour today. So the next stop is going to be to the Word, which is really an age-old, I don't know, ever since I've lived in Montreal, I've known about the Word. The Word has been around forever, and yeah, let's see what I find there. Okay, so I had told myself that in the next 2 bookstores I would only get 1 book in each bookstore because I ended up getting 3 books at the Word. Not bad, not bad. You say you're going to get 1, you end up with 3. So the first one that I picked up is 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl by Mona Awad. I haven't read anything by Mona Awad, but I've definitely heard of Mona Awad, and I know that, I think it's Bunny was the one that a lot of people were talking about. I definitely have heard of 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. I know she's a feminist. Looking forward to reading it. Can't wait. I also picked up The Picture of Dorian Gray. So I read The Picture of Dorian Gray in grade 12, and I remember loving that class. First of all, I remember loving that English class. I had an amazing English teacher in grade 12. Oh, what was his name? I'm not going to remember his name because I'm getting old and my memory's not so great. But this book is one of the books that we read in grade 12, and I just remember like being really blown away by the book and talking about the book at parties to people and stuff, like making conversation at parties because I'd read this book and have you read this book and it's oh so amazing and this is what it's about, and just explaining the concept of the book and being very proud of myself. Anyhow, so I think it's due for a reread. I reread The Handmaid's Tale in March, which was a reread for me too. I'd read it in high school, so I'm really looking forward to this. I know it's a lot of people's favorite book, and I'm sure there are good reasons why. And like I said, I remember being blown away by it, so I really am looking forward to reading it again. I'm going to do a lot of those kind of rereads, I think, this year. It's great fun. I love it. And the last one I picked up, which I was really actually pretty stoked to find. I think I probably wouldn't have gone ahead, but this is Anne Radcliffe, The Romance of the Forest. And Anne Radcliffe is a classics writer who wrote at the end of the 1700s. And I'm currently reading the Italian by her. And I mean, it's taking me a while because the writing is kind of dense in a certain way, but it's also really good and the plot moves along. So I don't know, it might just be me because I'm reading more than 1 book at the same time. But yeah, she seems to have a lot to say about the church. It says set in a Roman Catholic Europe of violent passions and extreme oppression. The novel follows the fate of its heroine Adeline, who is mysteriously placed under the protection of a family fleeing Paris for debt. They take refuge in a ruined abbey in southeastern France, where sinister relics of the past, a skeleton, a manuscript, and a rusty dagger are discovered in concealed rooms. Adeline finds herself at the mercy of the abbey's proprietor, a libidinous libidinous marquis whose attentions finally force her to contemplate escape to distant regions. Oh, it sounds fabulous. So looking forward to reading some more Anne Radcliffe. I think she might be my like classics discovery of the year. So yes, gonna look forward to reading that one. So much for saying I was going to pick up one book only. So that's my next rule for the next store I go to, Paragraph, which is my last stop on this book shopping tour. I'm only allowed to get one book. Okay, so yeah, that's Paragraph. Isn't it cute? I love that place. They do such a nice job of putting out displays, and the buyers are really great in that store. And they also I find carry like different versions of books so that you can have multiple options. For example, Mrs. Dalloway, there were a number of different options for Mrs. Dalloway, and despite the fact that I wanted to pick that up, I was limited to only one book and I actually ended up buying two. I have a good reason though. Okay, so I'll get to the reason why in just a minute. So the first book that I picked up is The Aosawa Murders by Riku Onda. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I've heard about this book upside down, 6 ways from Northwest, or whatever the expression is. And yeah, I just can't wait to read it because it's set in the 1970s for starters, and it's about murders, and it's set in Japan, and the prime suspect commits suicide, and on and on. It's gonna be amazing. I know it. Can't wait to read it. I'm talking really fast. I apologize. I'm super excited. Super summary here, and this drink that I'm drinking is so good. So it's tonic water, but it's cucumber flavored tonic water, refreshingly light. It's not a sponsor. I don't have any sponsorships. That's not a paid advertisement. I just think it's really yummy, and you might want to pick it up if you see it somewhere because it tastes really good and it's very summery. And it would probably be good with some gin. Mine doesn't have any. And this, I had to, guys. I had to pick it up because I keep hearing so many good things about it and I haven't seen it anywhere. And I find Paragraph is one of those stores. I think she does a great job at Distill as well, and I want to support her, of course, but I like to spread the love around. And so I picked up Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller. It's on the long list for the Women's Prize. Not that that necessarily means anything, but I have been hearing really, really good stuff about this book. And I think it's going to be interesting to read because it talks about an experience that's not... I've been reading a lot of millennial experiences lately, and I'm looking forward to reading something from a different age group with a different set of experiences, I guess. So that's my massive pile. Whew. I mean, it's a pile. I can't even pick it up because of my stupid wrist. I'll pick it up with my left hand. I'm worried to use my left hand too much because I don't want to end up hurting my left hand. My God, they're so heavy. But look at those books. I'm so excited. Okay. Yay. Yay, independent bookstores. Yay! I love you so much. Thank you so much for being in my community, and thank you all so much for spending this time with me. If you live in Montreal, I absolutely suggest you check out these bookstores. And if you're visiting Montreal, then check them out and show them some love. And yeah, nobody's traveling right now. What am I saying? when the quarantines and the lockdowns and the travel restrictions are over, when people come to Montreal, these are some good English bookstores to check out. So thanks for spending this time with me today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, then maybe just keep it to yourself. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Let me just slow it down a minute and have a sip of my drink.
Is it okay for me to take some video of your store?
The light, once you sanitize your hands.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I don't know. I know that this relationship is contentious and that the mother-daughter relationship wasn't, excuse me, you know, if you drink.